Hello, uglies, and said that like drag. Hello, uglies. Hello, uglies, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Boulay Brothers drag race. Welcome back to the Boulay Brothers Dragula, episode 3. I kind of got it that time. This episode is Ghosts of the Gatehouse. Now, before we begin, there is something very important I need to announce. 2 things. 1, I've been on the wrong mic setting for the last 2 months, so I apologize for the crappy quality of videos that have been coming out lately. I did not realize. It should be better now. Second thing, there is some random mysterious company. I don't know who they are. As far as I can tell, they make music. I don't know who they are. Some random mysterious company has been flagging every one of my videos. In episode 1, they flagged the entire floor show, but they don't own Dragula. They're not affiliated with Shudder. They have nothing to do with Dragula as far as I can tell. Then, the day that they released my flag after I appealed it, they flagged 23 seconds of my second video, my second Dragula video, of my voice, me talking. And as far as I know, I never signed a contract saying that anybody owns my voice. I did not engage with Ursula the Sea Witch. No one owns this except for me. So, I need y'all to make a blood pact with me that if they flag one more video, that we are all going to social media storm at YouTube to knock this crap out. Because I have talked to 2 representatives now about this. I'm tired of it. This is my voice. No one owns it. This, what I'm doing here, is all fair use. I am within every single copyright law to react to this show. Getting that out of the way, let's get into the episode. So first off, we have a little Neo and Orc showmance. I love when love is in the air. The 2 of them are really cute. I think that if they have a future together, I think it'll be fun to see that kind of develop. But I feel like anytime a showmance happens, it's short-lived. You're in a confined environment, emotions are high, tensions are high. We'll see what ends up happening with that. Everyone was super happy about Cynthia returning, which sad for Onyx. And I really still don't understand why she left. Listening to the Boulay Brothers podcast, I understand a little more, and I feel like some of what their critiques and concerns were cut out of the main episode, so I get it. But I still think that it was very clear who Onyx was. I just don't think they liked her very much. So the main challenge is a hotel ghost theme, which feels to me like Jarvis has it in the bag. Spoiler alert, Jarvis did not have it in the bag. There was also a fright feat where they grabbed random keys, and on one of these keys was the key of life and death. They called it something different this time around, but the idea was still the same. And we got a blessing. Coco Kane came to host the fright feat. 1, she looks so good. 2, why are you not standing Coco Kane? 3, it should have been a Coco and Victoria win for Titans. I said what I said. This episode really endeared me to Throb even more than I already was. I mentioned last week that I really enjoyed him just sitting down with JK and just talking about what was going on. And this week, bringing JK over to the other room and having this really emotional heart-to-heart and just being really sincere and genuine made me love Throb even more. And right now, Throb is in my top 3 or 4. I want Throb to go all the way. I am obsessed right now with Throb. They gotta do something egregious for me not to like them. Neo's also really going through it, and I empathize a lot with the idea of not wanting her mom to know what's going on or wanting her family to know what's going on. And I hope that through all of this experience that she's able to figure out more about what she wants long-term going forward, because nobody should control your happiness. But I also understand that there are really complex and layered cultural issues that I don't understand and that I'm not privy to. And I've also gone in my own journey of where I want to be with my family and how much I want them to be a part of my life now. So I hope that she's able to figure things out going forward. So now let's get into the floor show, because this was so fun. And I have to mention, Landon was back and he was incredible. The Boulay said that Landon is going to be a rotating judge, and I'm big hyped about that. Big hyped for Landon being a regular judge, or even just a rotating one. Give me Landon and Vander, and I would be so pumped. So pumped. So there were 2 parts to this challenge. One was a performance aspect, where they had to perform to a very old song It was a really cute number, and overall, I very much got like a Tower of Terror kind of vibe from this whole thing. Even to the intro, felt a little Disney's Tower of Terror, the ride. And I think some people got that reference and some people didn't, but it very much felt that way. I like this pull away to something that's a little more camp and silly and just being glamorous and pretty, while also still having a core tenet of Dragula being horror. And I like this idea of showing how your drag character fits into this period and would have died. So it's a performance challenge, which I think some people really nailed. We only got to see a little bit of it, but some people really got it. This very much felt like the vampire lip sync from Resurrection. I had some personal biases, but the biggest thing for me was the look. And does your performance match up with the look? For me, Throb and JK were my top two. And in a really surprising twist, I kind of loved Satana's look. I thought it was so glamorous and beautiful and really met the challenge assignment. It felt like a kind of posh hotel guest who checked in and may have been murdered there. Did I understand how she was murdered? No, but I thought it looked good. And I haven't really loved anything that Satana has done so far. And this was a top look in my opinion. However, she was in the bottom, so I was gooped. I was gooperoni. Instead, Neo is in the top, and that makes 3 times in a row that she's been up there. That's incredible. And I hope this trajectory keeps up, because I think Neo is a fierce competitor. And my bottoms were Cynthia, Orc, and Fantasia. But surprisingly, Anna was in the bottom. I didn't get that. And gaggily, Jarvis used the key of life and death to stick Orc up for elimination, which I was gooped. So far, Jarvis has been like really congenial and kind and kind of mellow, and pulling this stunt of sticking Orc up for extermination because Orc is great competition was baffling to me, because I feel like now Jarvis has a big target on his back of everybody being like, oh, so you're that player. You're the Jay Jolie of the season. And I feel like people might not respond very well to that. So before we get into the extermination, let's talk about this floor show. So Throb, God, obsessed. This was such a good look. I really thought that blackberries did not make a ton of sense. I loved what Anna did. I totally got it. It made complete sense to me. This was as soon as JK walked out, I knew that this was the winner. This was the most on point outfit for this challenge. Cynthia's confused me too. I really didn't understand it, and I'll get more into that in a second. I like the idea of this. And obviously it's a singer who got choked by their mic. I just didn't like that it was a cosplay. I don't know what this is. It, to me, kind of feels a little Nightmares-y, but I don't get it. This was so perfectly period. This was Jarvis's challenge, and I don't know if they served. So let's get into the actual specifics of these outfits. Okay, so Throb's look was giving me everything that I wanted. When I think Ghost Hotel, I think my brain picks 2 references. One, American Horror Story Hotel, which is a very modern reference, and kind of an older reference would be Tower of Terror. And I think about those 2 aesthetics combined with more of the camp silliness of Tower of Terror being the main point, and the production value, the story that's behind all of it, and the American Horror Story element of it being really gruesome and graphic. This gave me like the hotel owner, the dude who ran the whole place, got corrupted by power, and died. This was so on the nose and so perfectly period accurate, especially for this song. This was tops. If Jay did not kill this week, this was Throb's to win. Satana's was so good. I didn't quite understand why it was in the bottom, and I wonder if it was maybe the performance was just really that bad. But overall, the look is really cute. I get it. I totally understand who this patron of this hotel is. Do I understand how she died? No. But I also don't understand a couple of the other people that died in this challenge too. Satana just looks so beautiful and glamorous. And considering that the whole competition she's been trying to give us glamour and horror, I never really did that. I feel like this gave glamour horror down. I don't get it. Something about it gives little nightmares. Something about the proportions are really odd and bizarre. And you've got all of these clean elements, which I like. I like the concepts of it. But there's this mechanical spider on top of their head with what looks like a very tiny person controlling it. I just don't really get what that has to do with the challenge. And then I feel like the bottom half all kind of felt like an afterthought to me. In my opinion, I don't get what makes this ghostly, what tells me how this person died, or what this aesthetic has to do with the challenge. And if the whole point is your drag as it suits the challenge, this was a bottom look. And I agree with JK. I think that this would have been a bottom look no matter what, because it just didn't make sense. Then we have Niahuru, who, incredible, freaking incredible. This bride look is so good. And I think the Boulets, or maybe one of the guest judges, mentioned that they didn't understand why she was at the hotel. But marriages at hotels happen, weddings at hotels happen all the time. And if this was someone who went to get married at the hotel and their lover killed them, or they killed their lover in a fit of rage because they were cheating on them and then killed themselves in the process. But I get why this bride would be there. It makes sense in context of the show. Really great job. This was absolutely a top look. And maybe now that I'm seeing the full thing again, Satana's was a top look, but it was like a safe one. I still don't think she should have been in the bottom. And I stick with my guns that this whole competition, this whole season, the bottoms have been weird every single week, and I don't get it. So JK's look was goddamn incredible. Obviously, they're a bellhop. Clearly, they're a bellhop. The silhouette is perfect for the time because in that era, a lot of those shapes were really exaggerated and everything was kind of odd looking, and this suit gave that. With the contraption opening in the middle, it almost gave to me like a bellhop who is giving away illegal pharmaceuticals that they shouldn't be, and it's just like, as they're in the elevator with their guests, they're like, hey, do you want to buy some snake oil? No? Okay, don't tell the boss. I get the story and the motivation here. It totally makes sense. So good. And this little hat underneath the hat with the bell. Mwah. Like I said, I think this was Jarvis's week. And I think I agree with what the Boulets said. There were a lot of just mechanical errors that happened along the way. Do I think this is a bottom look? No. But I also don't think it's a top look either, especially for someone whose whole characterization is that they are a ghost. A vaudevillian ghost. And it just was so expected. It's giving Hatbox Ghost at Disneyland with the cape and everything. Look up Hatbox Ghost right now if you have a chance. It's giving that. And I feel like the creativity is not as strong as what I wanted it to be. It's still good and strong, but I just don't think it was what it could have been. I also don't quite understand how this character fits in with the hotel. It's sort of like a vaudeville ghost, but that's only because I know Jarvis's character. I don't know if I would look at this and be like, a vaudevillian ghost that died from something. And then we have Betty Boop. No, it's really Betty Boop. This was a lounge singer, I'm assuming, who died by choking on her own mic because the cord is wrapped around her neck. And I didn't see that detail at first. So the death part makes sense. What I don't like is everything else about it. I think cosplays and veering really far off challenge a la Louisiana Purchase, who almost never did the assignment correctly, but always stayed true to herself. I think those are great because you're being you. You are delivering yourself to Dragula, whether they want you to or not. I just don't think this, to me, gave Ghost. If I were to look at this blindly, I would think it's a Betty Boop impersonator, and that's probably it. I don't think I would look at this and even notice the detail that the cord was wrapped around her neck. I watched a floor show several times, and I've looked at these photos several times, and it only occurred to me that the cord was around her neck when I saw the full body photo of it. It's a good look for Drag Race. I don't see any of the Boulet brother tenets of drag here. And I think that's why it was a bottom look. Even though I really love Fantasia as a performer, this wasn't the challenge, and that's why it was bottom for me. And this is now the second week in a row. For me, this is a really safe look, and allegedly Onyx also did a cigarette girl. I think, to me, it gives carnival more than it gives hotel. People did sell cigarettes back in the day, but this to me looks more like something you would see at a carnival. The proportions and the dress overall doesn't really give like hotel worker to me, even though it is hotel-esque. It's almost giving a little more movie theater. The references are kind of all over the place here, and I think it was a very safe look. And I don't understand what the white was, and even the Boulets didn't. And I feel like that should have been addressed at least on some level. So next we have Cynthia, who I did say that I thought should have been in the bottom. And the reason why I think this is a bottom look was because from the hips upwards, no, the whole body is not giving hotel. These velvet pants are telling me a completely different story than everything else. And then we have this metallic corset, which is really, really cool, but I don't know what it has to do with the look. The metallic corset is giving like modern drag. And then these bell-bottom pants are giving 70s disco. But then we have keys attached as if this is supposed to be the bellhop, the person that carries your bags to your room as they're carrying these leather bags. But then we move upwards and there's no shirt. And that's confusing to me because why is this hotel worker topless? Then they have a jacket, which is really cool. The jacket and the hat brings it to band camp are both completely different stories than the disco storyline, as well as this weird middle corset thing. None of them make sense together, and I don't understand how this is a ghost. I don't understand who this person is or why they died here. Again, because the references are kind of mixed, I think that was a bottom look. But I love Cynthia. Overall, I want it to be known, I'm not hating on any of these performers. I have the utmost respect for them. These are just my opinions. And then we have my queen, Anaphylactic, who I will stand until the day that I die. I 100% understood this reference. Do I think it was the most innovative? No. Do I think it was the most creative that Anna could have done? No. Do I think it's super glamorous? Yes. To me, I get it. You look at the hole in the head, you look at the gun in her hand with the blood on it, and you look at the blood-soaked lining at the bottom. All of it works. All of it makes sense. This is a beautiful coat. This loungewear that's underneath is very period accurate. And that's the thing. All of the references are correct. Fashion-wise, period-wise. All of this is correct in where it's supposed to be. Where Anna really struggled was, I think, in her confidence and delivery, as well as just her general aura about the competition. Anna seems really scaled back. And I can't tell if that's because she knows that she's got a lot to give, who people associate her with, and the legacy that she carries, and maybe that's holding her back from giving her all. I think that Anna's got it. I think Anna could win tomorrow, but she's got to have confidence in herself, and I think this rat debacle woke her up. This was her pearl moment. At least I'm hoping, and I'm hoping that she woke up, and I'm hoping she arrives next week, because this Anaphylactic, I want to win. I want Throb to win, but I want Anna to win. And I need her to be present next week, or she's going home. So now we get to the end, and JK won the challenge, which was so incredible to see. I'm such a huge fan of JK. I really, really love what they do. I love their drag. I've been hoping that they would bring it. There was a little conversation with everybody backstage, and Jay read Orc in the same way that everyone's been reading Jay. And I understand that Jay's abrasive. I have known plenty of performers like JK. But the fact that everyone continues to bully up on them and gang up on them when they are proving that they are trying really hard to not be this person that they think they are, They're trying really hard to impress the Boulets and are just trying to execute their drag. The fact that people keep coming for them is insane to me. And Orc spilled their drink on Jay. I feel like I'm crazy here because I reacted to a tweet on Twitter saying like, this didn't have to get physical because it really didn't have to. There were some psychos who said that it was just a drink. There was one person who said, it's fine out in the real world. It's always gamers that think that something's wrong. I have done drag. I still do drag. You do not drop liquids on someone's art. If you have never created anything in your life, you're going to think, oh, it's just a drink. It's fine. No, you do not soil someone's art and someone's creation, no matter how mad you are. And it wasn't like they were even fighting. They were toasting in like a Shangela Mimi M first situation. That still wasn't okay, but they were fighting and yelling. The two of them were battling in that moment. It still doesn't make it okay, but at least everyone was engaged in the art of war. In this situation, Jay is celebrating their win, happy that they got something finally, some recognition, and then get something poured on them for being maybe slightly less shady than Orc was last episode. 100% not okay. And anyone who's like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, is a sociopath. And you clearly have no idea what you're talking about. It sort of made me lose a little respect for Orc Gothic, because I really liked them up until that point. And I still like that what they do. I just didn't like the entitlement to think, well, I'm unhappy, so I'm gonna spill something on you because I feel like it. It's not a good enough reason. So the challenge ends, and we have 3 people up for extermination, and Satana basically gave up and was talking about how she just wanted to go. And I understand. At a certain point, you recognize this isn't for me. I'm not doing well. I'm probably going to continue not to do well. And it's clear to me that whatever's going on here in my world is not translating to the Boulets. So I'd rather just bounce. And I'm embarrassed. And I don't like that. I get it. And I feel bad for her. Because I really think she killed this week and should have placed higher. They had to be strapped down to a dirty mattress while rats crawled all over them. And in my opinion, if it was just down to who killed it the best, it was Orc Gothic. Orc did what Loris did in episode 1 of season 1, where they just were excited about the gross thing that was happening and really did what you're supposed to do with Dragula. Anna, I think, has finally woken up. And I think next week she's going to be here. And unfortunately, Satana was exterminated and will no longer be in the competition, which I'm very sad about. I was liking Satana at this end point, and I think that's almost what makes it more upsetting. I loved the murder scene, though. That was so good. And if you're not already following the Boulets on TikTok, you need to go on there, because Swan was practicing breaking the door on a random piece of wood with the axe, and they put the most hilarious audio on it. And you must go watch it immediately. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Go over there right now and watch it. Thank you so much for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know who you think deserved to go home this week. Do you agree with the tops and the bottoms? And I will see you next week. And remember, if my video gets flagged again, we're taking to Twitter, because I'm not doing this again. Goodbye. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Goodbye.